Welcome to the podcast. This week, my guest is a good friend of mine from the Moncton-based hard rock group Which Is Which, Dan Cadera. He also has a project called Slashdance, which he's released an album during the pandemic. It's goth industrial, super cool. He also has a YouTube channel, also by the name of Slashdance. Lots of great content. He kind of delves into the pop culture and kind of geek culture. We kind of get into that a little bit, but you should really do yourself a favor and check out his channel, subscribe, like his videos. We get into it. We talk a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm just glad I got to finally catch up with him. It's been long overdue. So I hope you enjoy the conversation, and like I said, check out his stuff. Check out the Witches. You won't be disappointed.
Hello.
Oh, wow, that's funky.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just using my laptop camera, which is not the best. So I thought, well, we'll do what we can. And I thought if it can't look good, I could at least sound good. So I actually brought the mic in here.
You sound great and you look great too.
So do you. Look at you, got a
setup.
background, you got lighting. This is how this starts. You start, you're like, oh, I'm gonna start YouTube, and you're like, oh, I bet it'd be better if I bought like one cheap light, and next thing you know, you've got a $400 light box.
My first one that I did with Warren from Kendrick Ale Band, it was literally in me in my bedroom, laptop camera, laptop mic. It was like the quality. I mean, it was a good talk, but the quality wasn't that great. And then my wife was
the first one you did. I thought Nadine was the first one.
Oh, she was the third one.
Third one. Okay.
Yeah. So my wife was like, well, you need a better mic and you need a better camera. I was like, okay, well, I'll get a better camera that has a better mic built in. So I did that. And then needs a better mic.
I see your boom there. So
yeah. So then she just all of a sudden just started like, here, you need this, you need that, because I mean, she's a producer at an animation studio. So she's like, well, these are the things you're going to need. So she just started hooking me up with stuff, and here I am. And then I got the background for Christmas, I think it was.
Yeah.
So
actually, it took me a second. I actually thought you were against a brick wall, and then I kind of started to see the lines around your head a little bit.
Yeah. The illusion is,
these are fake too.
Are they?
Yeah.
No, they're not. Unless you're behind.
You got to pay extra for the animated.
Yeah. Unless you're in front of a green screen and that's like some animated background or looping video or something.
Plug-in you get. Pinball plug-in.
Yeah.
How's it going?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing? All things considered.
Oh, you can't see. I'm rocking the.
Oh, I see it. I see it. So I got the AC/DC. Yeah. I got your split, and I was gonna get one of your shirts, but Nadine was like, "Yeah, we don't have your size." So I was like, "Oh, shoot. Oh well, I'll get it on the next run."
Yeah, that's always the case. Whatever. Doesn't matter what we get, we're always short of whatever. Like, yeah, we could be like, oh, last time we bought small shirts, we had them for like a year, and then the next show would have like 7 people asking for small shirts. You just can't win.
You can't get enough. That's part of the deal. But I mean, the worst case is you got a box full of shirts and they're not moving.
Oh yeah. Right? It's like having a box of records that aren't moving during a pandemic.
Right. Yeah. So there you go. So I start these off like already. I hit the record button before I do anything else. So
okay, I assume we were going.
We're already going. So
cool.
Yeah, take some people off guard, but yeah. So I don't know if you've seen any of these or how the whole structure of it kind of goes.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I watched a couple.
So the first part is usually just kind of giving you a background of, who you are and where you come from, that kind of thing. So if you want to kind of tell the story that is Dan, like where'd you start?
With music?
No, like as far as like the seed.
The scene. I was started going in this, like I was in the scene for like a very long time before I actually started playing, like, because I started going when I was like a teenager, but I didn't start playing in like my first band. I was 21.
Really?
So I'd been in the scene for a couple of years, and basically what had happened was that our favorite band here in Moncton, they quit. Like they were just done. They were there for like long enough. And that was Bad Luck Number 13, and they were just an old school punk rock band. And there were other punk bands in town at the time, but like it was during like that time, and I mean, I guess they never went away or anything, but it was like during that time it was kind of like a lot of Fat Records bands, like bands that sort of have that sound. And like no problem with that. It just wasn't like what I was into. Like we were more into like the like the Sex Pistols and just the classic 70s punk band,
Clash.
right? Like the Cockspire and whatever, right? Like we were just like so there just weren't any more bands that sounded like that. And we were like, oh well, let's do that. And we were like going to start a Minor Threat cover band, and none of us really knew how to play, so we found out that it was really hard to learn covers when you didn't know how to play. So we just started writing our own songs, and that was my first band. And that was the Dead Fucks, and that lasted for like 7 or 8 years.
Really?
And it was fun. We became kind of like the de facto band in town when somebody cool came through. We got we got to play with like DOA and Fishbone and like Wesley Willis, which was my favorite. So not that we were that good, but it was just like, I don't know.
That's part of the scene, right? It's more of an attitude and an energy than being good at your instrument.
That was
right.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
I'm still thankful that's still the case today.
Yeah. Same here, man. I took a long hiatus from back in the old high school days to getting back into what I'm doing now. And I'd say it was probably, like 10 years.
Yeah.
And then I went straight into doing what I'm doing now. And it's like, I'm just struggling to keep up half the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, like you're like one of my favorite drummers in New Brunswick. Like, and you guys are my favorite band in the Maritimes, but you already know that. Like,
yeah, well, that's a mutual thing. Like,
it's just love fest here.
Like legit. Like, we'll get into that like as we talk.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
that's
my love for the Witches. But
we're still stuck in we're still stuck in the early days. I don't know how much you want me to go on that. I just there was just a lot of fun shows back then. We were a really wild band. Like we kind of had a bit of a reputation of that we would just make a mess every show, like with food and throwing stuff at people and just causing trouble. And like we didn't really cause that much trouble. Like we kind of kept the trouble contained, but it made other people want to cause trouble. Like, so it was a very chaotic time, but fun. Like, like
so that was in Moncton. So are you originally from Moncton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from Dieppe actually. I'm still in Dieppe. Like, I like it here.
Yeah. So did you ever like venture off and then kind of come back? Like most people do?
No, I never moved away. Oh, we travel a lot, but I never moved away. I don't know. I never felt the need to. Everybody that I love is here.
Yeah,
So
good point.
why would I leave?
Yeah,
I understand why some people would, but that's why I didn't. So yeah.
No, I mean, there's lots to do in the Moncton Dieppe area. Like it's,
I mean,
it's the hub city, right? So yeah. So you traveled. So speaking of traveling, pre-pandemic, you guys went to Japan. And didn't you almost get stuck before you were able to come back?
No, we didn't almost get stuck. We've been to Japan 3 times. And the last time we went, it was right, like we had just first heard about what COVID was. Like right, they weren't even calling it COVID, they were calling it the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And like it was still in just Wuhan. Right. So nobody was asking you any questions other than not even have you been to China. They were just like, have you been to Wuhan, China specifically? And we were like, no. And it's funny, like we did have a few like American security guys going, you're going to be right there. But it's like China is super, like I know on a globe, China looks close to Japan, but it's really far away.
Really far away.
Like, so I just remember we were talking with people over there about it, and like nobody knew, like nobody knew what it was going to be. So we did not get stuck there, but but
you guys landed back in Canada just before they started putting up the restrictions, right?
Yeah, it was like almost like it was meant to be. We found the trip was really cheap, and it just came at the right time. We were like, heck, let's go. And and then maybe it couldn't have been 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I think it might have been 3 weeks after, because B.A. Johnston? Yeah. Anyway, B.A. went right after us because we were talking a little bit. He was asking about it, about going and stuff. And he went maybe 2 weeks after us. And like right when I think he might have had a little bit of trouble coming back. Not trouble, but like more questions than we got. And then that was it. Like that was the end. So yeah, we didn't have any trouble, but
yeah, it was close.
It was close enough. It was close. I think it was meant to be that we were supposed to go. You guys go and then stay in your house for like 2 years.
Yeah, pretty much. So born, raised in Dieppe, like, do you come from a musical family? Like, do you have siblings and stuff?
Well, no, but my grandfather did run a dance school for 45 years.
Okay. That explains
the stage. There is like some rhythm in the family, like so I must get it from him. I get my hair from him. He had hair until he was till he died, and he was 89 or something, like so. Yeah. No, sorry. I don't. You needed a grandfather that danced. Yeah. So that would be about it. Like, I guess there might be some of it in the genes, but nobody played any instruments or anything.
Right. Okay. Because you're not just a musician, like you do art for a living, do you not? Like media and stuff?
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer, web developer, web designer, I guess, more than anything, which is more of a graphic art. I'm not that great of an artist, but like it's like layout. Like I do layout.
Yeah. I mean, that's an art in itself.
We need to do the back of our album. Like if I get somebody to do the art for the front, and it's like I'll do the back. You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Yeah. That's what we did for ours. Like I did the layout and the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
I didn't know that.
James did the cover art. We gave him some images like and like a font for the logo, and then he kind of came up with that logo.
Okay.
And he did the front cover. He just kind of was like, "Hey, what do you think of that?" Like, done. And then after we did that, and we released it during the pandemic, like you did with Slashdance. And so we just did the cover art. We didn't have anything else done. And then shortly after that, James left for his production, Mobian Productions, and his Mobian support, because he does tech support.
Yeah.
And then so we just had the cover and had nothing else. So I was like, oh fuck.
Someone has to do this.
Get my Photoshop, dust off the old Photoshop skills from way back when.
Yeah.
So that was I did the rest of that. But
cool.
Anyway, so
that's cool.
I did electronic game design and some 3D graphics in college.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. In the Miramichi?
Yeah, NBCC. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's where I met my wife. She took the
no kidding
animation program there. Yeah.
Oh my God, I was accepted to that course in 1996. Yeah, 96 or 97. Must have been 96. And I don't know. I backpedaled. I wasn't ready to move to the Miramichi, I don't think. Like
the big city.
Well, no, I was just like, it was just like I had some friends that were there. I wasn't the Miramichi. It was this that like it seemed like everybody there was just really, really focused on like all they were doing was their whole life was just working on these games and stuff. And it was like I can't I have trouble just doing one thing. I get
well, I think that's
I couldn't imagine just being stuck in one corner. I'd probably have a very hard time dealing with that.
Yeah, I think I mean, it's true that because I remember like late nights just working in the at the college, and same thing with my wife. That whole program, it's like you eat, sleep, breathe.
Yeah.
But there's nothing else to do.
Right.
Because there's not a whole lot of things to do, especially at the college age where you want to go out and party. Like we had Doolies, and at the time we had Choo Choo's, which was like a dance club, which has since burned down.
I heard that.
Yeah. And same with the Opera House, which, man, you would have loved. Have you ever been to the Opera House before?
Was that the place that had the giant alien?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had like
I've never saw it.
Cool.
I've heard the legend though.
Yeah, it had the alien, had the Indiana Jones stuff. It had, oh man, you would have loved it, man. It was really cool.
I would have loved it. You're right.
That place did burn down too.
Wow. The alien went with it. It was like Ripley. That was the only way she could get rid of it.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to do during college, so you would just focus on doing your work, right?
Right.
Which was good and bad,
Yeah.
Stir crazy.
Right.
So where did you? So you did your web design stuff in Moncton?
In Moncton, there was like there was a lot of like little schools that kind of opened. It was like during like the new. I don't want to get them. This is gonna be a boring topic, so I'm just gonna move on it quick. It was like there was a bunch of schools that opened that don't even exist anymore, and I went to one of them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Man, I've been doing web design ever since. Like I was doing web design when there was no web design. Like it looked like, you know what I mean? There was no the internet was GeoCities at that point,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess so. Yeah, we come from the same. Well, what year did you graduate high school then?
95.
Okay, so you graduated a year before me. So we're of that same ilk of pre-internet, internet kind of becoming a thing, and then now. So we're that one generation that experienced the
Oregon Trail generation.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you started you were in your first band when you're in your 20s. So when did you start playing bass? Like, did you play it when you were a kid, or
like not really? I had one, like I had like somebody had given me one. It was like a really there's a crappy, I don't know. I wouldn't say it wasn't a Sears, but it was like a Sears equivalent bass. And I had it at the house, and I just kind of I would just hit at it, but I didn't know anything. And I mean, you just sort of, it was basically like by the time I was 21, I was playing the way like teenagers learn, you know what I mean? But that was good. It was good for the band. It was good for, it was kind of a good combination. The drummer had drummed for a while, and the guitar player was really good. And then the singer and I didn't know what we were doing, but we kind of learned, they kind of just show you, they just point here. It's this note, or I could just write I'd be like, without knowing the notes, I'd just kind of come up with things. I still do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how original music is made. I mean, fake it till you make it, and then you make something out of it.
Yeah, I'm still faking it.
Yeah, same here. Because I mean, anyone that sees your rig knows that you're a big Dee Dee Ramone fan.
Yeah, I mean, I've always played like a Fender P bass, and they came out with a Dee Dee Ramone model, and it was just. And they had one in Moncton, which is just, they don't usually, it was basically the same as, there's slight differences, but it's almost the same as the P bass I had. But it was just okay, I'm just going to get the Dee Dee Ramone model. And, and then I played through the Ampeg SVT, which I only got a couple years ago, but it was something I always wanted.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's a monster to carry downstairs.
It is, yeah, it's terrible. I'll tell you something though, the Fridge, it's weird. It is it's better than like the smaller, there's smaller ones, and they're harder because they're so short that it's like whoever's on top has to bend over more. Yeah. The tall one, it's like both people can actually kind of stand up and move it. So it's like, I think it's better to have the 8x10 than one of the smaller ones. But
it looks better on stage too.
Yeah, it looks great on stage.
It looks great on stage.
Even that, no matter how bad you sound, it sounds great. So it helps,
So when did you start? Okay, so from what I understand in talking with Nadine, the Witches started with you, PJ, and her as a three-piece, just doing instrumental.
In a way, it started, Nadine and I wanted to, Nadine, when she started playing drums, she wanted to start a band, and and her and I, we talked about starting a band for like a super long time, and we were kind of like bugging PJ for a while, and PJ had been he was in a bunch of bands in and out, he's been in so many, the Iron Giant and the Monoxides, and things are on and off, and anyway, we finally got him to do it, and it was great right off the bat, and it wasn't instrumentals, it's just that we didn't have a singer yet, so it's like they're literally some of the same songs that we play to this day. We played when it was just the three of us. We just hadn't found a singer yet, and it took us a really long time. We tried somebody, it didn't work, and then we had our and then we've actually had two singers that we've gigged with, and we love them both, but like they both had commitments. They're women, they're mothers, and it's just you can't always, like with younger kids. Nadine is a mother too, but her kids are older, and she kind of was in a position that she could just tell her husband, like, watch the kids, I'm going jamming. So then we finally, and they were like both singers we had before were great. I love them, and I would have never even gotten rid of either of them. I would have kept them forever, but I'm thankful that we landed on Lizanne, because she's just a ray of sunshine, and such a great singer. Everybody, she's the
she definitely brings a different dynamic to the stage. Like, she's a great front woman.
And that's hard to find a great front person in general. It is, and she's very comfortable up there. She can't get enough of it. And it's cool. Girls love her. It's just like you go up and like there's just a row of girls in front, and they're all just like starry-eyed, and then at the end they like ask for her autograph or something, and it's what, like I wrote that song, like I don't care.
So the songs themselves, so that's you and PJ that kind of come up with the riffs, or is it all four of yous in the room kind of thing?
Yeah, it's either PJ or I or a combination. Like we definitely both of us do we write the riffs, and most of the first album, but like I did almost all the lyrics for the first album, just because PJ, like Nadine was just Nadine. She's like, I can't do that. It's like she probably could if she tried. And then PJ was like, I don't know, he just didn't. I don't know. I could do it. I was the one who could do it, so I did it because no one else was there to do it. There was a couple songs written by our second singer, Katie. Like a couple of songs, the lyrics were written, and those are still on there, and she's credited on the back of the album.
Cool.
And now it's pretty much just like Lisa Ann writes them, which is great because I don't know. I think it's better to sing your own lyrics if you can. Like I could tell if I hand her something to sing, it's like she sort of, it probably doesn't mean as much, or she can't envision. Like when she came to the band, we had these songs and like there were like demo recordings of them and stuff that she could hear and go, oh, that's how it goes. But for me to sing it off key to her, to go, oh, this is how it goes, it's like, it's easier for her to write her own lyrics and sing them, and I think it's better that way. I like it, and I wouldn't change it. So at first it was because her first band, like there was a kind of a lot of, oh, like you should break it up like this, like na 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 na, and that's where you stop. Na 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 na. Otherwise, like they don't fit together, right? Like, but she learned that, and now I don't, we don't have to tell her anything.
Right.
So
cool. I love that first album. I have both versions of the
Thanks,
vinyl.
Man.
Like I have the purple and the green vinyl.
That was PJ's plan. He was like, if we do two, people will buy them, hopefully. Like,
yeah.
I like the purple one, but better. Like, I don't know. I like purple.
Well, they sound the same.
They do, thankfully.
Yeah. Vinyl is definitely something that I'd like for us to do. But it's just so expensive. Like
it really is.
And then to get the return on it, like,
nah,
you're never going to get that, really.
Yeah. I mean, you got to kind of, like, you can if you sell them all, like, or you can, like, but it's hard. I have a hard time being like, please, like, this record is, I know it's like, you're like, buy this record, it's $25. It's like a lot to ask from people, I find, like, to come to a show, they've already paid $10 to get in, and they're trying to drink, and then it's like, buy this record, it's $25. Like, and people
they go there with
do it, but average, on average, it's it's tough. Like
you go there with the intention of buying the album because you're going to see the band. You're like, oh, cool, I'm going to pick up the vinyl, and then the end of the night, you got no money left because you bought all the
drank it. That'd be
drank it away. Yeah. So that album took home some hardware at the Music New Brunswick.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hardware. Yeah.
Yeah. So who has the trophy?
I don't. I think PJ does.
Oh, does he? Okay.
They funny thing about those trophies is like they give you, like, no matter who won it, it's like they give you one. And it's like if you want more, you have to buy them, which is like so it's like if there's 4 members of the band, it's like, and you won 2 trophies. I can't remember, but I remember we were like, it's gonna be like over $1,000 for us to get the rest of these trophies. Like, is why we never did it. And all trophies are like that. If you won a Grammy award, like it's the same thing. Like if like if the Beastie Boys won like 3 award, like an award, they'd have to buy an extra one, like for, and they give it to MCA, Ad Rock, and Mike D would have to buy them or whatever. Like, there's like a set limit. It's funny.
So, with the success of that album, do you like? Because you guys just did the split with Frig Dancer, which I also got my copy.
Oh, great!
I got one of the smoky ones.
Oh, cool. What do you think of that? Like, it was recorded a lot differently than the first.
It's badass.
You like it?
Yeah, it's badass. It sounds just as good as the first one. I know you guys did it a little different, but it still sounds like you guys.
I don't want to say more professional, but like we definitely went to a better studio area to record. Like it should be cleaner, but not clean like in a the drum.
Well, I mean, the style of music that you guys play is going to be a little dirty anyway. So
yeah, sure.
Even if it sounds clean, it still sounds dirty.
Yeah, it's like you want to get a clean recording of how dirty it is. I think is the key.
It's like mopping the floor though you didn't sweep it, right?
Yep.
So do you find it, is there like any pressure, or
Oh,
do you find doing the split kind of relieve that with
here it
the
is.
next album?
See, look, I came prepared.
Nice.
So right there with our
Get them
good
while they're hot.
friends, Frig
Yeah.
Dancer.
Yeah, the Frig Dancer side is really good too.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah. They're just a two-piece.
Yeah. Yeah, they're amazing. And the nicest guys on the planet.
Yeah, I haven't met them yet.
God, they're great.
Hopefully get to play a show with them and you guys at some point.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, I would love that. I would totally love that. We were supposed to, I don't know, it's just getting shows going right now is so weird. We did play one since everything opened up again in Fredericton. And we were talking about doing one in Moncton for this, like, you know, so it's like I'd love to get you guys on that. That would be amazing. But there's no date or anything. Like, no. It's just, you know, it's just like last time we talked, we're like, are they booking shows? Yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah. I know the Panic Room is doing shows more often now. They have a new location.
Yeah, somebody had asked us to play there, and then we said no because we were supposed to play Quality Block Party, and then I don't know, something fell apart there. Okay. We said no because we're like playing the next week, and then we didn't end up playing the next week. It's a weird time. We just sort of we try to say yes to everything that we can, and some things work out and some things don't.
Some things stick, some things don't. Yeah, it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah,
you know, so a lot of the noodles fall off, but then there's.
I think it's going to start getting better. I hope, but I don't know.
Well, it is, especially with like, you know, more people getting the vaccine and restrictions lifting up and all that. Venues are, I don't know if they're going to do that whole vaccine passport thing, or if venues are going to like require showing proof, or how that's going to work. That's going to be weird.
It could be weird if they started like asking for a vaccine passport to come to like some dingy punk club.
Right. Well, I mean, they do gather in.
I guarantee the Panic Room won't be doing that. I guarantee it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. So the YouTube channel and the album are both called Slashdance.
Yeah.
Which comes from a movie.
Yeah, it was a terrible shot on video horror thriller movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
which was a playoff of Flashdance, wasn't it?
It was like an aerobics dancing murder thing. Like I don't know, names are really important to me, like, you know, so it's like with which is which, like that took us a year to come up with. Like we were jamming a year, like we hadn't played any gigs yet, and because we didn't have a singer for like the first 7 or 8 months, and it was just like, what's the name, and we just kept going, and it's like which is which took us that long. And then when we heard it, like when you hear it, you're like, that's the one, you know. It's just like, it's a great name. And then like Slashdance was the same thing, and naming something that's like your own, it's really tough. But when I came to it there, I was just like, oh, I couldn't believe nobody hadn't taken it. Like, you know, I love it.
It's a great name. It's easy to say.
Like people, it's just great. Like, you know, it's perfect because I like it's, you know, it sounds exactly like what it is. It's like there's like a horror thing to it, like, but it's like not serious at all. Like, which is exactly how I am. Like, you know what I mean? It's like not like, you know, it's like I couldn't be any happier. And it's a bit of an 80s thing too, which I love.
It's a huge guy. It's a pop reference.
Pardon me?
You know, it's a pop reference.
It's pop reference. You know, it had everything.
Goth. It works. Especially with the type of project that it is too, because it's like a goth industrial kind of, almost like a tribute to that genre that's kind of always been an underground thing. So it's still kind of kicking, but it's not as big as it was earlier, back in like the 80s, 90s.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess that's actually, if we're talking about Slashdance, I guess to go back to even before when we started, is like when you said, like when I was talking about my first band, the punk band, that like I said, oh, I started playing my first band when I was 21. That's like literally when I started jamming and started playing shows. But prior to that, the drummer of that band, Will, and I, who he's an electronic musician in Montreal, goes under the name of Oxygen Fad, and he's done really, like, he's got a following. He's cool. He's played with Alec Empire from Atari Teenage Riot and a bunch of cool stuff like that. Him and I started out writing electronic, like industrial songs first. No idea, didn't know anything about music, you know, just, but like, you know, programming drum beats and stuff, like, so like that was my initial goal in the 90s. Like that wasn't even retro, it was like current, when I started.
Okay.
And then I got distracted by rock and roll for so long that it was like that I just like that by the time I got back to it, it was like, oh, it's retro, like I guess, like, you know, but it was like at the time it was like, you know, still sort of like, you know, it wasn't new because industrial had been around since the 70s, but it was, you know, it was definitely happening in the 90s. Like, so I actually started then, but I'm glad we didn't put out anything then because it would have been horrible. And, you know, knowing what I know now, it ended up obviously being a lot better. So,
yeah. And you did that whole album by yourself, right?
Yeah, I did.
Kind of in secret, like only a few people knew about it. I didn't know about it until a day or two before it came out. Like,
yeah, that was just because it's like one of those things where, like if you like, it's tough. People start talking about projects and then people ask, and it takes me like those songs, like every one of those songs took me months, you know, and it's just because combination of just, you know, it's just listening to it, mulling it over and over again and making sure it's right and it feels right. And, you know, not knowing what I'm doing or whatever, one problem or another, you know, just like learning like, how's this sampler work? Like, you know, tech problems with old technology, all kinds of stuff. So I didn't want to like be like, I didn't want to just, you know, announce I'm working on a project and then have people be like, when's that coming out? Because I think I would have just got scared and not done it,
and then just not finished it,
or overwhelmed. That instead, if it was just like, okay, it's done, and like not only is it done, like there's a record, and not only is that like you can get it like I did like the Steve Jobs thing is like, hey, here's a thing, and also it's like right now, like, you know, you didn't know about it, but here it is right now, like, you know, and
that's
then it was
awesome.
Cool. So
that kind of helps build the mystique of it too. Like, that's the other thing, like with social media.
Is there a mystique about it? I don't know.
Yeah, of course there is.
Is there?
Yeah,
It's the first I've been told of this. Well, I'm glad that it's got something.
With social media and everything, like everything is just always in your face. You know everything that's going on. Like,
that's
even
true.
like movies and like TV shows,
right.
like all that stuff, right? So bands kind of do that too. I mean, we're guilty of it because I'll do the social media. I'll post like we're jamming tonight or we're working on new stuff, and kind of trying to keep people engaged because everybody is so like single serving, as you call it nowadays. I guess, like with, you know, you don't buy an album, you listen to a single on Spotify.
Right.
But back in the day, bands would like lock themselves up for a month or two and then come out with a record on the other side. And I think that's kind of lacking in music in general today. So being able to do that, nobody knowing about it, and then just kind of bam, here it is. That takes some guts.
Oh, that's cool of you to say, but at the same time, it's like almost the opposite of guts for me, because it was like, just like, it was actually making it easier on myself to just be like, okay, like, you know.
So do you plan on putting together any type of a lineup to take it into shows or anything?
I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. And I don't even know, like, I just, like, I don't want to say it's not possible, but it's just one of these things. Like, there's two types of people that make this kind of music. Really, you have guys who do all this stuff, and then they go play live with like a laptop, and it's just a guy yelling in front of a laptop. And like, it's cool, go do it, especially in industrial and stuff. Like, there's guys doing that all the time. They're basically DJs, except for, you know what I mean? And you know, all the power to them. But like, being a rock and roll guy who's always played and everything's always live or whatever, it's just I couldn't bring myself to do it. I don't think I would feel weird doing it. Like, we went to go see like the band, and we went to go see, there was like this 90s tour that came through, and like Salt and Peppa were there, and we saw Salt and Peppa once. And no, it wasn't Salt and Peppa were fine, because Salt and Peppa at least had a DJ, but there was some band, somebody played first, like, you know, it was like some R&B band, and they were just playing to a backup tape, and PJ was like, it's really weird to watch a band play without a drummer. And that hit the nail on the head. It's like, if there's no drummer on stage, this looks weird. You can remove any other element, but like, you have to have a drummer on stage, because otherwise something just feels inorganic.
That's funny you say that, because my wife and I went to see Aqua, and the opening bands.
I saw Aqua.
Did you go to that show?
The Aqua show in Moncton?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
So Aqua and
we went to that. My
Prozac, and it was Wigfield.
Yeah.
And she came out with like the stormtrooper kind of like one-piece suit.
That's hilarious. You were there because we were
no
there.
band, so she just kind of went up and sang her songs with like
I
the
was
backing track.
happy she was there because I was like, if you were like name a 90s dance song, that would have been the first one I thought of.
Yeah.
Even though it was like her only song, but
it was a great show.
La da dee dum da 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 dee da dee dum.
Right.
Pretty baby.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife wanted to go and see her do that song, and then I was more excited for Prozac because I loved that album back in the day.
Yeah.
And then Aqua came and they just tore the roof off. I thought it was a great show. The drummer was awesome. Of course, that's the only thing I really watched.
I don't remember. I guess I don't. I was drinking a lot like that show. I was just like, my wife's CD collection had come to life.
Yeah. No, it was a good show. The drummer was really good.
Oh, we had fun. There was a guy in front of me wearing a Sun Ice jacket, which I enjoyed tremendously.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like pink and blue.
Were you down on the floor?
Yeah.
Okay, we were up on the side on the.
Okay.
I guess it would have been stage left, up on the side there. And there, man, the crowd that was there, they were definitely there to be drinking because.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't drink a lot, and plus I was driving that night, and my wife doesn't really drink, so we were totally straight edge, and we were just watching all these people, and they're like coming in from rows behind us and just crowding into like these areas because they knew each other, and they were just like spilling drinks and just dancing, and it was a good time, but we were definitely sandwiched into like a couple of those groups.
Right.
So, and my wife
at least get your your seat space at least.
Yeah, right. And my wife is she's an introvert, so people are kind of, you want to stay away, have your space. Not to get into that too much, but like it was a good time. She had a good time.
Cool.
But the people were a little too close.
Yeah, those just shows. It's just like it's tough. That's your deal. It's just something. Yeah, you gotta. I guess you gotta pick. Like, am I gonna do this? Is this what I'm gonna do tonight or not? Like,
yeah, right.
My story from that show is that I just kept drinking, and we were going to. There was a goth night in town that night, and we were going to that immediately after. So I was just like ready. Like we were like, I was basically, I don't know. I was just like, if there was a line of people in the to buy booze, it was like I stood out a little bit. Like I like that I wasn't supposed, not that it's like extreme or anything, but it was just like you could tell like one of these things is not like the other. And it's funny because there was this really long line, and there was an old man security guard, and he just came up to me and he whispered in my ear. He's like, "There's a much shorter line upstairs." And I was like, "Oh my, who is this angel?" Like, so I went upstairs, and there was like another, like, the line for this one thing was like 10 minutes, and I went up to this one, and there was like nobody there, and it was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, the second floor. So
that was like story from the Aqua show.
Yeah, because we were up on the second level to get to where our seats were.
Right.
Yeah, like went to go to the bathroom, and it's like nobody there.
Wow. Yeah. I'll remember that next Aqua show we go to.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they come back. I'll probably get talked into going to see like a Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, New Kids tour or something.
Right. My sister's gone to so many of those. She's a huge fan.
Yeah. No. Maybe. I don't know. The sad thing is I'll probably know all the words.
Oh Lord, I wouldn't.
No.
But
No, I'm not ashamed to admit it. Actually, like it comes on, wife is singing, I'm singing along. It's a good time.
Just put it on, and if it makes them happy, then it can't be that bad. But just
is that Royal Rumble in the back?
It is Royal Rumble. That's my first pinball machine.
Yeah. You're a big pro wrestling fan.
Yes.
Yes,
that is true.
Guilty. Yeah, same here. Well, I mean, I just kind of got back into it thanks to AEW.
Of course.
Man, that is a great promotion.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, oh my God, they're amazing. It's an incredible time. It's ridiculous. Like that's almost all we do is watch pro wrestling. And like, if you asked me who was the champion of the WWE, if you gave me $1 million, I couldn't tell you. And it's like, but it's like, if you want to know about New Japan Pro Wrestling or Stardom, or it's like I can tell you whatever you want to know about that.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like it's cool. It's cool that we've broken free from their shackles.
Yeah. Well, I did watch bits of SummerSlam, so I do know who the current reigning champs are.
Is it Roman Reigns? That'd be my first guess.
Yeah.
Is it Roman Reigns or Randy Orton?
Roman Reigns, yes.
Every time I look, that's who it is.
Randy Orton is tag team champion with Matt Riddle.
Okay. I've never seen a Matt Riddle match. I heard he's good. I don't know.
Yeah, he wrestles bare feet.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know why, but
my I don't know if you knew this. My wife used to be a pro wrestler.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she was on like the local scene here for quite a while. She was like a manager for like a long time, but she went to wrestling school.
Okay.
So she's been like suplexed by 7-foot men and stuff in training.
Okay.
All that
she's
so like she didn't like, she wasn't in the ring, active in the ring too long, but she's done tours. She's been to Newfoundland and so it's pretty cool. But like she didn't like pro wrestling at all. She just came into it. She like backdoored into it. That she was like kind of she had taken dance and amateur wrestling, and then some of these people just end up pro wrestling. But it's like, pro wrestling 10 years ago, especially for women, was absolutely like abhorrent. And so she didn't like it at all. If I asked her, do you want to watch Royal Rumble, she'd be like, no, and I'd be like, neither do I. Like, but we'd watch it, like, and then it's like but now it's like,
but now it's great.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like women, like we watch. Our favorite league is World Wonder Ring Stardom in Japan. It's an all women's league, and it's the best. Like as much as I love AEW, like we can't watch Stardom first because we'll be like, this wrestling is in slow motion. It's like, yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Big fan.
Yeah. I watched the pay-per-view
go
over the weekend. CM Punk was back. He fought against Darby Allin.
We watched awesome. It was the whole show was bananas, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. But my brother-in-law was a puddle on the ground watching it. He just couldn't. Because he stuck through it during all the bad years when we all left. So it's like for him, this was just like a miracle happened.
Yeah. No, it really was good top to bottom, and like all the people that they signed this year, is just ridiculous. And they're all people that have left the WWE for obvious reasons. But like Ruby Soho coming out to a Rancid song. Like,
yeah, it's rad. I guess Lars Fredrickson gave her, it was his idea, apparently.
Yeah, he's a big pro wrestling fan.
Yeah, I literally had never seen her. Like, it's funny, like a lot of guys who came over, like when Brody Lee came over, it's like I had no idea who he was. Like we just watched Japanese wrestling because that's where Kenny Omega and like Young Bucks and Adam Cole and all those guys were. And then AEW happened, right? Like, so even Chris Jericho was over there. I was in Japan when Chris Jericho announced he was going to fight Kenny Omega. I was at that show. It was ridiculous. Like, we're like the only two white people in the building. Like, and I was just like,
there's Jericho in Japan.
All-time favorite, Chris Jericho.
All time? That was gonna be one of my
favorite. My favorite was Ric Flair, but like the past 5 years there, it was just Chris Jericho. He stole. Like, I've always been a big fan. That's WCW, but like the past 5 years just cemented him. He's the greatest. Nobody's ever been that good for that long, including Ric Flair.
And Ric Flair should have hung it up long before he did. In my opinion, like his last match with Shawn Michaels, it was just, it was a good match, but he should have been done way before then.
I don't even know if I saw that. Like, I haven't been out of it.
So what's your favorite all-time match?
Kenny Omega, any Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada match from like any of those were great. Were the top for, they're the best.
Yeah. So I didn't follow the Japan stuff, so I'll have to like search for those on YouTube or send me a link or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, how long are these nerds going to talk about pro wrestling?" But we're gonna. It's in my family now, so
yeah. No,
I guess that was the story. It was my wife. Like, she didn't like wrestling at all, even though she was a wrestler, which wasn't that uncommon back then. But like, she was just like, "Oh my god!" Like, if I would have had Stardom back when I was working, like, I would have learned so much. I didn't know she didn't even know women could wrestle that well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not that it was like, because it had never been presented that way in North America, and she just, it was just she's, it's cool. That's cool just to sit there with your wife and watch it, and tell you, but she's come back from like wrestling tours, like with just like bloody chest, and be like, the people at the airport be like looking at her like, what happened to you? And it's like she's just taking chops.
Right. Yeah, wrestling's fake though.
It's fake. Yeah, that's great. Her parents like don't like, it's like because she did amateur wrestling. It's like I didn't watch a pro wrestle because like I couldn't even take her doing amateur wrestling. It was like amateur wrestling like so much safer than pro wrestling. It's like one's real, one's fake, but one's like way more dangerous.
So how long have you been with your wife?
7 years, 8 years. I don't know, a long time.
Okay, so she was wrestling before you guys hooked up?
Okay. Yeah, she was. It was cool because we would do like she would come to our shows and she work our merch booth, and I go to her shows and I work her merch booth. Right. And we just feel like people be like looking at the 8x10s and be like, oh, like I don't know which one to buy, and I'd be like, oh, that Vixen's pretty good looking. I got sell them. So she'd end up selling more 8x10s than everyone else if I was working at the booth.
You need a good salesman, right?
I actually remember a couple of questions ago to go back to music, so people have probably all turned off by now. Whatever. When you watch your YouTube metrics, this is like huge drop off at pro wrestling.
I don't know how to watch that stuff.
That's okay. Never do it.
I don't pay attention to it.
You can either be the guy with the laptop I was talking about. Somehow we ended up at pro wrestling, or you can be ministry, and you need like 10 people. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh my God, where are you gonna find 10? Like, where in New Brunswick are you gonna find 10 people that want to play a mix of goth and industrial songs that they had no creative input in and are getting no money? Like, it's just like it's not gonna. It's a tough call. Maybe if you were in New York or something, or Los Angeles or Chicago, but like in Moncton, that's a tough call. So don't see live being a thing.
But like you said, as long as there's a drummer on stage. So if you got a drummer,
one drummer.
Then what?
One drummer that's go taka taka taka, and they're not even doing it because they're just playing the drum machine's going in the background.
Doesn't matter as long as the drummer's on stage.
That's right. You're right, actually.
Right, get a drummer, you get somebody that has like a bass and a guitar, and they don't even have to be plugged in.
The rest is just loops.
Just put on the show.
I mean, it's not any worse than just hitting play on your laptop. So
right, at least you're presenting as something visual.
Yeah, sure. But a lot of those guys who do that, the laptop, just being a guy with a laptop, they do a lot of stuff that's visual, like DJs. Like, you know what I mean? They tend to have lighting, or they tend to have something going on, or they tend to be insane and frontman or something. So I'm not poo-pooing on that. This is not what I would do.
They could just be DJ Slashdance.
DJ Slashdance.
Just get some kind of like weird helmet or some kind of
that's
costume.
A shtick. People love DJs who look like mice or robots or whatever,
with like flashing lights.
Right. Flashing lights,
or get like a sidekick, and you both just do that the whole time.
I'd be my Pomeranians would do that.
Yeah, there you go. Just put the Pomeranians on stage.
I would
give them like little
show.
Headphones.
I would totally go to that.
Right, and then you can keep the money because they're not going to use it.
Well, what money? There's never going to be any money.
You get $50.
Oh yeah, they'll pay for half the gas to get the show.
Album sales and stuff. Yeah.
I've never known this to be a money-making venture. That's for sure. In over 20 years.
Yeah, no, there's less money now for sure, especially with no shows. But even with shows, like you're breaking even most of the time, or if that, like depending on how far you're traveling.
Yeah. Nobody's doing this for that. Like anybody's doing this now. It's just like doing it because they love it, and there's like no other reason.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. Like anybody who's doing it for not that is probably like one of those bands that like lasts for like a year. They show up, they buy a bunch of Facebook likes, and then they're gone in a year. Like, you see it all the time.
You basically you make enough money that you can set aside to do the next project. Like you're just paying...
like when we did our record, that's what we did. Like we put all our money aside, and then we paid for the record. And like we sold shirts since day one, and we had a band policy. It's like we could either take the $150 or whatever, $200 or whatever you got that day, and buy Burger King on the way home or whatever, or we could put it all in a pile and then pay for the next thing, So we always took it. Yeah. We always took every dollar that came in for the band to do other band things. And it really worked because we could always buy, if we ran out of shirts, we could always buy new ones with the money we made from the last shirts, or we could pay for the record, and it all ends up adding up slowly. It's not a way to get rich, but it's a way to make it self-sustain itself. We don't have to put a lot of money into the band.
As long as you're self-sustaining, that's basically, we paid for the album by selling the t-shirts.
Yeah.
And we got the t-shirts from, I forget where we came up with the money for the t-shirts, but yeah, that's just kind of how it goes. And then once you get that going, then it becomes cyclical, and then you can work on the next thing. Particularly if you record yourself, because studio time is not cheap,
right?
Unless you know somebody that's willing to cut you a deal.
Yeah, that's what we've done every time. I guess so. But you've got James, so
yeah, we had James for the first album. We're starting to come up with tracks for the second album, so we're working on stuff. Well, we were working on stuff. We'll be again soon, I guess. And so we're just kind of figuring out how we're going to record the second album, because James isn't in the band anymore, but he is still a recording engineer. And we still know the guy.
I feel like he'll do it.
He's still around. What's that?
God, he'll do it.
Yeah.
Brother's in the band, for God's sake.
It's his uncle.
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I do not understand the McClafferty family tree at all. But I know it's complicated.
Yeah. Don't bother. No, Sean is James's uncle.
Oh, okay. I thought they were brothers because they're about the same age.
Yeah. But. Yeah, well, Sean is the youngest of the McClaffertys, and his sister, I think, is the second oldest. So there was an age gap. So when she had James, they were close to the same. I mean, Sean's in his mid 40s, and James is 30. So there's 10 years difference between them. So they could be brothers.
If this was my YouTube channel, I wouldn't be able to resist the temptation to, while you were just saying that, to draw a family tree on the screen.
I don't know how to do
partially that. Because it's just, to demonstrate, and partially just because it'd be hilarious.
Yeah. No, the McClafferty clan is definitely, they're a tight knit group, and they're great people. So
absolutely. Never met one I didn't like.
Yeah, same here. So now that Sean's back in the band, we're going to work on the songs first, and once they're ready, then we'll start worrying about where we're going to get it done. But I kind of want to
sneak. The last show we played together, I didn't know that he was back in the band. He didn't tell anybody. So we were just talking. I'm like, hey man, you going to start playing again? He's like, yeah, pretty soon. Next thing I know, he's up on stage.
Literally pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we did that on purpose. It was a good time. It was actually Sean and James that came up with the idea to do that. Because James was sending messages, or he was talking to people on
does James help you with your YouTube channel there? Because he's got a pretty good one going on there.
No, this is all just me.
No pro tips, nothing.
Nothing. No. I mean, this is just a Zoom call, and then I'll throw it into Adobe Premiere and chop it up.
I got to start doing that. That's my thing with production. I did too much production.
Yeah.
Just record once and.
Well, there's not a lot of production in this. I'll do little snips here and there kind of thing, and I'll do an intro and an outro, and I'll tag them on the top and the bottom, and that's it.
I'm really hoping to get back to it. We bought a new house, and that there was just no, the house was staged, for to get sold,
to sell it.
Yeah, it was just there's no way to run you start doing these things, and next thing you know, your basement looks like a TV studio. It's just, and you don't want to tear it out. You can't. It's not even feasible to tear it all down and put it back up every week. It's you could, but you'd drive yourself crazy. So
yeah,
I just had to stop, and then it was such a stressful thing. So I got some ideas to come back. So
yeah,
hopefully soon. This doesn't look too terrible if it wasn't filmed bad.
No,
if the webcam was better.
It looks good. This, you don't want to see what's behind it, and maybe after we're done, I'll give you the tour.
Turn it off. Let's see.
I'll give you the tour later.
I want to see it now.
No, let the
people see.
This is what it is.
Yeah. Oh my God, look how strong you are moving that brick wall.
No, but the rest of because I'm in my basement and it's an unfinished basement.
Okay.
What I was doing before is where we have our jam space. I would go and I would set up, put the camera up and the light, and then move the furniture around, and then do the podcast, like the one that I did with Nadine, and the first few episodes were in the red chair.
Right.
And then that was just too much because I'd have to go there like an hour before, set it all up.
That's the worst.
Yeah. So now this is a permanent spot. So now I just gotta like bring my laptop from upstairs and plug it in. So it's a lot quicker. It's a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So so are you close to being ready to start doing more videos?
I don't want to make any promises. I have a whole bunch of ideas and some of them are ambitious, and it's like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Like, it's like, so I hope so. I don't know.
Like, you're just gonna like do like 10 of them and then drop them all at once. So then people can binge it, because that's how people watch stuff now.
That was funny. I'm gonna do it I promise 1 year I'm gonna do this, and I don't know if it's gonna be this year, but like I wanted to do it last year. My goal was to do it last year, and then the album got delayed in production, so it didn't work out. I wanted to drop the album before October, so it would have been like a Halloween sort of release. It made sense.
Yeah.
And it was set to, but there was like the records actually came back to us and they were all scuffed. Like they came back to us and there was just a manufacturing error.
No way.
So we had to get them redone. So we missed October. And my goal was I was going to do the videos, I was going to do like 31 horror movies in 31 days, so do 31 videos, like one a day for like 31 days. But you would do that. You would start that way ahead of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'd like to do it again this year, but like, I'm only kind of settled to do it now. And it's like, it would be an undertaking.
It would be a race to the finish line. I'd love to,
like, but I'd hate to start and like, I don't know. I'd have to, I like to play things pretty safe. Like I'd almost want to have them done by like, the end of September.
But, yeah. Cause I was going to say, like, if you gave yourself at least like a 2 or 3 week cushion. So like,
but like, I'd also have to rewatch every one of these movies. You know what I mean? Like to get things to talk about. And I don't know. It takes me, anything I do takes an obscene amount of time. Like any professional who like heard that record would be like, I can't believe it took you that long to make that. Or like every video, it's like they could have done 5 in the amount of time it takes me to do 1. I just, they always end up good and I'm always happy with all this stuff, but it's like, it just takes me so long. Like I just,
what if you did like Halloween in December?
Why Christmas? Like, yeah.
Right? Instead of October, do it in December.
There's always a thing that people do. Like, I got a friend who collects Christmas. The guy, my friend Justin, who did the art for the Which Is Which album cover and the Slashdance cover.
Yeah, I know Justin.
You know Justin?
Well, I knew him. He used to work in Miramichi at Fat Cat, and that's right. Where my wife started working at Fat Cat before working at Lugaroo now.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, she knew Justin Coffey. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Very stylish cat.
Oh, super stylish. Best. Yeah, he collects like he collects horror VHS too, but he also collects like specifically Christmas horror VHS. So he's got a ton of them. He probably, I don't know if he has 31, but he'd have enough that you could make a serious Christmas horror run. But
oh yeah.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. That's the only one you really need.
Yeah. We just recently watched oh god, I can't think of the name of it now. It's the one with the guy that has the drill for a guitar.
Oh, Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Yeah, we just watched that a couple nights ago.
I actually know mine is like over there right now. I can almost see it.
The guitar or the movie?
Oh yeah, the movie. I'd like to go with that for Halloween 1 year, but
it'd be awesome
if I ever cut my hair.
Just tie it up.
Yeah. All you need is a guitar. Nobody would notice your hair.
No one. Yeah. As long as you have the leather jacket and the gloves and no one's gonna comment about your hair.
Oh, I love those movies. Those are like my jam. Like I love. That's like almost a perfect horror movie for me. Like I kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and Halloween. It's like there's nothing. Like they're almost uninteresting to me because it's like there's like what do you even say about them anymore? You know, that hasn't been said. They're just so there, like, you know, and they're almost not weird enough, you know. Like I love my favorite one. A lot of people hate this movie, but my favorite one's Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street 2, because that's the one that's like, you know, the weirdest one. So that's my favorite one.
It's Freddy's Revenge, right?
I honestly don't remember what part 2 is called. I'm not a big fan of Nightmare on Elm Street. Like they're there, like, but like if you want like Sleepaway Camp or you know, Chopping Mall or something, that's my jam. Like,
or Witchcraft.
Like, Witchcraft. I watched every one that's on the album, the song I Call It Witchcraft. That's what it's about, was me marathoning. Like in the video, the music video, I'm making a weird dessert, but like the song is actually about me marathoning all the witchcraft movies, which are awful, but great. Those I wouldn't say those are my favorite horror movies, but like, you know, you should watch them.
Yeah. We have Shudder, so we watch a lot of really old bad horror movies.
Cool.
We were watching the old Puppet Masters. They've actually been making some recently. Like as far as
new
like
Puppet Masters.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're just as bad.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad
by bad I mean good. And Warlock. That was a good time. I remember that movie.
The like Julian Sands Warlock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that in the theater.
Did you?
Yeah,
I used to have a poster on my wall.
You do?
I used to. Poster. I don't have it anymore. I wish I did.
Oh, it's such a cool poster. Oh, yeah. I love that. I love big white posters like that. Like I've got a Fright Night 2 poster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw Warlock, but I went to go see Nothing But Trouble, and it wasn't like, which was a Dan Aykroyd Chevy Chase movie. And I think I went to see it because like Digital Underground had a song in it, and I saw the video and I was gonna go see it. And we got there and it wasn't playing, but Warlock was playing. It was rated R. And we went in and we're like, whatever we were gonna see, it wasn't as awesome as this.
Like, that was a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Saying like the old Hellraiser movies.
Yeah, I like Hellraiser's great.
What was that? Was it Cronenberg movie? Fright
Andy
Night?
Cronenberg is good for me.
Fright Night?
He didn't do Fright Night.
Or no, Fright Night. Nightbreed.
Nightbreed, yeah.
Yeah. Love that movie. I wish they would. Well, I don't wish they would remake it, but I wish there would have been like a sequel or like a series for that.
Yeah, it sort of ended like you thought there was gonna be more, and then there wasn't.
Yeah, right.
Nightbreed was Clive Barker.
Clive Barker. Okay, but didn't he have a cameo in it? Not Barker, but like Sonnenberg. Thought he was in the movie.
Cronenberg?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Maybe. I don't know.
I thought he was.
I don't remember.
I thought he was the doctor that was trying to.
He could be. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll have to look.
If I had a Google Home down here, I'd ask it. That's my favorite thing to do, is just ask it stupid questions like that.
Yeah. Because I know like a lot of those directors would often have cameos.
Yeah. The Stephen King thing to show up. A movie that I'd seen when I was younger, and I don't know if I appreciated it enough, and I just watched it again lately, and it's like it just skyrocketed right to as was Near Dark with Bill Paxton and Christopher Walken. They're like Southern vampires. Holy smokes! Like,
yeah, I saw that. I think I saw that on the menu or whatever.
Yeah. Oh my God, man! Like that was like, I think like that. Like my favorite vampire movie is The Hunger, but it's like that. Like that was like clawing at it. I was like, oh my God, like this movie's amazing. I wish there were more movies like this.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of a big budget movie, which I'm not that into, or like big budget by horror movie standards. Like, so I was kind of like, I don't know. And then I watched it and it just blew my mind. I loved it.
Cool.
Yeah. We haven't talked about music in like 15 minutes. So.
No. Yeah. If anyone tuned in for music, they just watch the first half.
They're like, oh my God, tell me the intricacy. Tell me what frequencies you use to record the guitar on Miss American Vampire. Here's the record.
That's it.
Always have it handy.
Yeah. No, the purpose of this podcast is to get to know the people that I'm talking with. So yeah, it's going to start off with music, but then it's going to take a hard left.
I like that. I don't know. Yeah, I'd rather hear, like, if they were talking to the Ramones, I'd rather just hear what Johnny Ramone thinks are his favorite.
That's kind of the whole
Elvis movies or whatever he's into, you know?
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, this was a great chat. I can't wait to play shows with you guys again. So
you too,
I'm looking forward to that. So.
Absolutely.
Sweet. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
You too. You look
Say
good.
hi to everybody in Miramichi for me.
I will.
All right.
All right. Okay, that was my conversation with Dan from Which is Which and Slashdance, as I mentioned before, and also talked about during the podcast. Just a bit of side note, housekeeping, if you will. When we talked about some terrible movies, I mentioned that Stephen King had directed a version of Maximum Overdrive that was separate than the Emilio Estevez one, which is not true. The one that he directed is, in fact, the one that Emilio Estevez starred in. And the other version of the film, which I was trying to remember, was called Trucks. And that actually came out after the initial version, Maximum Overdrive. It's worth checking out. And also David Cronenberg was in the movie Nightbreed. He was the doctor, just in case you're wondering. But do check out those movies. But more importantly, check out Dan and Which is Which, and also Slashdance. Check out his YouTube channel. Check out all the socials. I'll have them all linked in the video description. Like I said, it was great catching up with Dan, and I can't wait to get on stage and share a venue with them, and wish them all the best. So yeah, until next time, we'll see you later. Peace, love, take care of each other.